Hello, namaskar, and once again a very good evening to all the viewers watching our sessions out there. This is Simran Singh and you are watching this particular live telecast on eVidya channel number 6 to 12. Besides, we have a lot of different mediums to which you all can contribute in our sessions. You can participate and connect with us. And one of the other mediums is our YouTube channel that you all are well aware of. It is NCERT Official. So once again, I would like to take the moment to welcome all our viewers on the third day of online training that is running on accessible digital resources and assistive technologies. Very quickly, I would like to inform you what we have discussed so far and what are the conversations or the topics that we are going to discuss in our upcoming sessions. So on the first day of our online training, as we commenced it on 21st of November, we provided you more information regarding accessible digital content, the policy perspective and the scope. Then yesterday we had more information on accessible digital resources that are available around us, and today the topic of the conversation would be universal design for learning, that is UDL. And tomorrow it would be assistive technology, and day after tomorrow, that is the concluding day of our online interactive sessions, will provide you more guidance regarding how you all can develop digital resources for children with special needs. Because we all know when we talk about accessible digital content, it becomes really essential for the education of children with special needs, especially in an inclusive classroom setup. So in this live interactive sessions, if you have any of the queries, then feel free to write down to us about your questions, your messages, your feedback in the comment section of NCERT Official. Besides, we also have certain different mediums for all of you. The first one is our contact number. Kindly note down this number. You may give us a call at 8800-440-559. And a specific mail ID for our training sessions is again right there. It is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. So providing us more information on UDL, we also have our special guest in the conversation in the studio. But before that, once again, I would like to take you across our website, and then we'll have a conversation with our today's expert. So let's watch to our screen what we have got on our website, how you can access this website. So this is the home page of CIET website. You all know it is www.ciet.nic.in. Very simple, and in this blue bar there are the number of options available for all of you. So for this particular training session, all you have to do is click on events, and the third last option is workshop/training. So these are our 5 days online training program. So all the information regarding our activities, what are we going to discuss, our completed activity, our upcoming activity, we used to upload it on our web page. So here you may see that the program is titled as online training on accessible digital resources and assistive technologies that we started out on 21st of November. And we will conclude our online training on the 5th day. That is on 25th November 2022. So once you click on this blue accessible link, all the information regarding this particular training program has been uploaded on our web page. You all know that NEP 2020, its vision for educational technology, recognizes that new technology will change not just what students will learn in the classroom, but also how we learn it. So this is our banner of the 5 days training session to ease the topics for all of you. Then the objective of our training session, you all know, that is to orient teacher educators, students regarding accessible digital content, assistive technology, creating digital resources. And the best part of our live interactive training programs is you all can be a part of these sessions. So whether it's the students, the teachers, the teacher educators, parents, administrators, or even general public, you all can contribute in our sessions with your queries, your messages. So here is the program schedule with the day and the title of the session, followed by the resource persons, the banner and the video links. Sometimes what happens is, for any reason, if you miss out on any of our videos, any of the training program, so our videos are uploaded here itself on this page. Besides, we also have all the links and the videos available on NCERT Official. Now, yesterday also I informed you that after our training programs, we have a post-session activity for all our viewers. So how you all can be a part of the post-session activity, that is our quiz. So here are simple steps that has been elaborated for all of you on our web page. So the first one is registration. All you have to do is register yourself by clicking on this link. That's in blue. It is accessible, or scan the QR code. Then you can watch our live panel discussions. We started it out on 21st November till 25th November. We are here in the conversation at this particular timing, that is 4 to 5. The different mediums to which you can connect with us, I have already informed you about them. So if you have missed any of our sessions, you can watch the recording at this link. Then the third step is participation in a post-session activity and certification. Now, I am again emphasizing it that you all can participate in the post-session quiz. And if you receive over 70%, then you will be eligible to get our certificate as well. So, we will upload our quiz on 25th of November at 6 p.m. And you can submit your entries with us by 23rd December 2022 at 6 p.m. Then your feedback is immensely important for us. So here is the feedback form. A lot of viewers keep on asking in the comment sections from where they can submit their feedback. So this is the fourth step. Submit your feedback using this particular link. And these are the 5 days online training. And for any of the queries, here are the mediums to which you can connect with us, and you can talk to the experts during the live telecast. And the best one, is the comment section of NCRT Official, where we try to take all your queries. So coming back to today's conversation, as we all know that we have been discussing it for the past 2 days, but what is UDL? Like, what is Universal Design for Learning? So providing us more guidance and information regarding this subject, we also have our special guest in the conversation. So allow me to introduce her with all of you. Here in the studio, we have with us Professor Renu Malviya Madam. Namaskar, ma'am.
Namaskar.
Good evening.
Good
A very
evening.
warm welcome in the session.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Madam is currently serving at Department of Education at Lady Irwin College from University of Delhi. Ma'am, in the conversation, we welcome you on behalf of NCRT, on behalf of all our viewers with open arms. So, ma'am, we have discussed about accessible digital content, the resources that are available for us. Now, what is UDL, the Universal Design for Learning? Please apprise our viewers more about it.
Okay. So I'm so happy to be with you all here. Universal design of learning, it basically means the what, how, and why of learning. And when we're talking about universal design of learning, it is an approach to ensure educational programs which serve all students, students with disability, students with any type of diverse learning styles. No two individuals are same. And this is one particular way of learning, teaching learning processes that we incorporate now, where all this is, and it doesn't help only the person with disability, it helps all aspects of educational experiences and makes the students, the staff, the instructors, the administrators, the visitors, everyone more inclusive. So that is what is basically the universal design of learning.
All right. And how does it benefit a child?
When we talk about the universal design of learning, it benefits each child because it is able to reach out to every child in the classroom. It elicits the best of potential of each child. And you don't have to draw the child out into a different section, separate. This is done in the regular mainstream classroom itself with the support of special educators, the general teachers, and everyone in the education system there. So these are the classes where you're not only talking about, writing from the blackboard, but there is a lot of the theater in education happening, there's a lot of sketching happening. Everyone's working the best way they love to work, but they would be working on a particular topic. Let's say photosynthesis. So somebody is going out and learning about stomatoes with the little microscope with them, or somebody, or a magnifying glass, somebody is writing a poetry on that, somebody is writing an essay, and somebody else might be conceptualizing a whole drama across that. And this is happening all together in the same classroom. Imagine what lovely classrooms, a lot of self-directed learning. So when we say, if you look at the slide here, it says UDL is not a special ed thing or even a general ed thing. It's just an ed thing. It is an education thing. And if a child cannot learn the way we teach, maybe should we teach them the way they learn better? So this is what UDL talks about. Why UDL? As everyone is different, and we know this theory here, that if everyone was to learn the same way, then this is what our education system tends to be. It's changing, but if you look there, the teacher is teaching in a particular way, but somebody who has a bubble, somebody who is a circle person, somebody else, they are not able to get the best out of the system. So what happens is we land up having so many dropouts. Now we don't have dropouts because everyone just goes on to the next class, but still the potential of each child is not taken up to the best potential. So you have so many learners, but there are only certain ways of reaching out to those children. So children or the learners who are different, they tend to learn less. Their potential is not elicited properly, and hence we have lesser people there. Other problem that we have is that every brain is different. So we are not even talking about disability per se as of now. We are going to come to those diverse brains later on. But even the brain itself, some people are better with logical, verbal, digital thinking. While the others are extremely creative. So why can't we teach mathematics in a more creative manner?
Yes.
Just because I'm not logical in my thinking, then if that means I will never be able to learn maths. If it is taught in a way in which it is creative, the numbers can jump about, the numbers can do something.
They can talk.
They can talk to each other, and 5 can say, you know, I look bigger than you, but actually I'm not as big as 9.
Yeah.
Right? So something like this happens. So we need all these co-curricular activity related things. So we need the dance teacher, we need the music teacher, we need the sports teacher put together, and then we teach them all about maths. So become so more creative. So this is the different types of brains. Some of the brains, if you see in the center, they're linear. One thing leads to the other, to the third. And that's what we do nowadays. Mostly our schools are. Other, if you see, they will come to the answer, but they come in a very multitasking manner. So, and we also have what is multiple intelligence. Now, if you have different type of learners, and then we also have we are not even yet reached the level of persons with disability. So these are children with different types of intelligences. Somebody loves when they talk about the nature. Somebody loves it when they can actually feel the numbers.
Yes.
Then there's somebody else who loves it when they are able to sense it themselves. You know, this is what I feel. Somebody likes it when they can interact with others. So if we can all these type of activities in the same classroom. Looks chaotic, na?
Yeah.
But I know it is difficult. But it's fun once we get out of our very regimented way of what a classroom should be looking like. And we have this. So you have somebody who is more loves. Do you have that child in your classroom? If you're writing on the blackboard and the child will come right in front, look at what is written on the blackboard and go back. You get the eyesight checked, and still there is nothing wrong with the eyesight, but the child still does it. Maybe that person is more of a visual learner.
Yes.
Then there is somebody saying, ma'am, I can't hear you properly. And you have to show your face to the child. There's somebody else who's okay if there's noise in the classroom. There's somebody who it is very difficult, they need to have. And there's somebody who will come and you're doing a demonstration in the classroom, the child will come and touch that. And you get upset with the child. Now, that is the child who is probably a tactile learner or kinesthetic learner. Now we are still not reaching, these are all children who are on the so-called normal spectrum. So learning style is speaks to understanding that every student learns differently. Okay, so everyone's learning differently.
Yeah.
But within that, it's not that I cannot learn through music, but my preferred mode of learning may be writing. For somebody else, it might be sports, kinesthetic, bodily. So I can learn that way, but I cannot learn as well. So supposing we are learning, say, push and pull, force in the classroom, in physics or science, that it is done in such a way that all these different things come into play. I know it looks up tough, but once you get to it, it becomes so very effective. So, do we as educators, do we as parents put in a number of doors and make the instructions so difficult for the child? How do we get these doors to be broken down? That is what UDL talks about. So, the more of these barriers that we have, as we move them away, then learning becomes more effective. What do teachers control? Tell me. Is it instructions, activities, learning, all of them? And look at, can we have a class like this? Do you think this class is going to make a lot of noise? Oh no, if all of them are engaged, the noise levels will remain low. But the engagement, we work on discipline, but we do not work on engagement. We ask them to keep quiet. That's not what we need to do.
We need them to participate in our conversations.
Absolutely. And they need to, supposing somebody is, we're talking about earthworms. So if somebody is so engaged looking at an earthworm and counting the number of legs and is in the field all full of mud, but the learning would be more. They would understand the difference between a centipede and the other pede much more.
And they're never going to forget it.
Absolutely right. They'll never forget it also. So it's okay if they can be dirty. Somebody else will go on to, is a very digital child, and would go on and give you the latest different types of centipedes. Or which centipedes has 100, which has whatever legs or whatever. So there is this. Then somebody else may just decide to do an art and craft activity, make that centipede out of pom-pom toys. Everyone would be able to score very high marks in the final examination. So that is what UDL is talking about. It's not talking about teachers cannot control learning. Teachers can control the instructions and activities. So UDL, or Universal Design for Learning, improves educational outcomes for all students, all learners. And so UDL is a framework which is making accessible using engaging learning material, and it has a certain goal, it has a methodology, and it has material and assessments. So when we talk about persons with disability, children with disability, so here is a child who has an issue with the eyesight, is visually impaired or blind. Now engaging this child, motivating them, you cannot do it by just writing on the blackboard and you hear, and the other children will visualize what's on the blackboard and also see. What do we do? How do we engage them? We engage them through having audiovisual aids which are tactile, which are raised, So do we have globes in our schools? Every school, every class where the different continents are raised. I would love to see that also. I would love to feel that too. Besides my peer group, my peer who is visually challenged. Even the child with dyslexia or specific learning disability would love to touch it and understand it better. So everyone gets engaged in it. What does universal design of learning also says? The representation, how it is represented, and then ultimately when we're trying to do it in our board exams also now, that if you can't write, then there is a scribe for you. So you verbally tell the scribe, and the scribe writes for you. We could also have pictures or drawing. You draw an answer. Action and expressions are different. One would say, how can you draw a definition? Ask those children who are good with sketching. They can do it. And there are enough examples where difficult definitions have been sketched out by the child, and so very effectively. So that is what is universal design all about. So what is it doing? It is recognizing, perceiving and understanding information, strategizing how to learn and successfully demonstrate mastery, and stay motivated, engage and participating.
So ma'am, this looks pretty amazing to me with the amount of information that we have gathered in the conversation. Ma'am, there is a question that is very relevant to what we have discussed now. So if you allow me, could we take that question?
Sure, please.
So ma'am, there's a question in our comment section. When we talk about diverse kinds of learners, there are slow learners, there are fast learners. Now, as you mentioned that some might be able to grasp the content with the help of visual aid, while the other with the help of art and craft. Now, it becomes a task for the teacher. And within a limited span of time, for example, we have around 40 students in our classrooms and a timing of around 50 to 55 minutes. Now, everybody has a different learning capability. Now, how to ensure that balance in our classrooms?
First of all, if my teacher was to start teaching me in Japanese, I surely will be very slow.
Yeah.
But my teachers are using the language, English, Hindi, which I am very comfortable with. And so I'm not slow here.
Yeah.
Because certain type of methodologies, technique, tools are being used in the classroom, certain children tend to be slow. The slow is not the right word. Okay, their IQ is borderline. Okay, right? That's another reason. But if first of all, the sitting arrangement of the classes is a row type of a sitting arrangement where it is teacher centered.
Yes.
When we go for conferences, all of us, you have that
round table conferences.
Round tables, small round tables, and everyone sitting there, they're interacting with each other, they're listening to the panelist also.
Yes.
Is there uncontrollable noise there?
No.
No. And people are also eating there, by the way. Okay, but still they're interacting and also listening to the person.
Yeah.
Often what the panelist is saying, I will talk to Simran, what happened, and I'll talk about an example.
Yes.
Oh, she won't understand. I'll just draw it. This is what he's trying to say.
Yes.
So this is what they're doing. Why can't we have a whole small group activities and you are giving projects? Learning is through discovery method, activity method, projects. I just took the example of photosynthesis, class 6. So you have to present your learning of photosynthesis to the entire class after one period. You have a laptop with the relevant videos put in there. You have the sketches there. you have the entire other materials also there. Okay. Now, everyone who is going to present it, the person who is interpersonal, it could be a child, the so-called slow learner, who is actually not slow, but that person could be made the presenter. And who is making the data is somebody else. And similarly, you have an enactment there. Okay, so you have the stomatas, so somebody becomes a stomata, and because there is pollution, I can't open enough. I mean, the oxygen, carbon dioxide is not going in, and the other side has less stomatas. Now, this whole thing can be done so effectively, and the children are doing it. And the teacher is the overall supervisor. So, we have flip classes also, where the student does the activities, but there's a lot more work for the teacher in this. But once you get into it, I'm sure none of us is able to get out of it. We also have what is called the zero lecture method, and UDL supports that a lot. So, we also have the Bala. You know, Bala is not actually UDL. When the Bala project was made, I'm sure they did not know about UDL. I haven't gone and asked them, but I'm very sure Bala came in much before that. See, now in this, UDL says different ways of engagement. So, the first one, if we are talking about the different structures, size, lines, or you've learned about wriggly things like an earthworm. So, they are actually touching, they can do it whenever they like, right? Somebody else, if you look in the center, is the same thing. This is done with a small group activity, and everyone's looking at the globe there, the map of the world. The same sort of an activity is possible even with grade 10, grade 12. Once we start off, we can do it. If you look at down there, one is doing the numeric sums with the help of a finger counting there. Somebody else is doing it on a digital device. At the end of it, what are we looking at? That person knows what is addition, subtraction, multiplication, or is it more important that they do it in a particular way? So, this is the type of engagements which can be done across the school education system. When we talk about representation, I've taken a lot of these examples from Bala, but of course, they just lend themselves to UDL. If you look the representation, generally when we are learning about angles, the angle is only drawn on the blackboard. We are not utilizing various spaces in our classrooms. This is the door here, the first one, and if you look at here, and the entire compass is drawn here, the angles are drawn here. Any time the child can go and do it. So, if I haven't understood or I want to practice on it more, all I have to go around is taking the door to different angles. I know many of our schools have started having these type of activity. So, we have a puzzle which is a part of it is made on the floor there. Now, taking this to the classroom is much more easier and vice versa. And if you look at this one here, I've taken this, we're learning about measurements. Do we really need to have only measuring with the help of a scale on a copy? Is this not measuring? So, these are different ways of representation. And when we're talking about actions, we are already doing it in our education systems. Just we need to do it for every chapter, every topic. So, I move on to the next one.
Yes, ma'am.
So, again, there are so many other examples that we are already doing in the classrooms. Are we having everything stories? Stories, are they meant only for class nursery? or are they meant for even class 12th? Can we talk about, I have never forgotten, do you remember the benzene molecule?
Yes.
Right, that monkey and the tail thing?
Yeah.
So every monkey caught onto the tail of the other one. I've always remembered the benzene molecule from there.
And also the story of the crow putting on pebbles.
Exactly.
The thirsty crow.
The thirsty crow. Or when we're talking about time management, we learn about that, how many things can you put into a flask?
Yes.
Okay, can we do this for permutation combinations? Can we do it for something else? I haven't forgotten my that hypothesis is a smaller way to go. If I have to cross somewhere, I don't have to take the length or the breadth, but the hypothesis. It was taught to us in the lawn. We just went there, we measured the length, the breadth, and this, and it was fun. And I remember when I went home, and I told my mother asked me, "What did you do today?" "Oh, we played." It's much later that I realized, that this is actually the formula of hypothesis. So we were always, our teachers have always been doing it. It's just that we need to do it more often. We will be talking about assistive devices tomorrow, I presume. But here I thought about just giving an insight into the type of activities that would probably be happening tomorrow. Are there any questions coming in?
Yes, ma'am. There are certain questions. We have around 20 minutes left in the conversation. We might take our questions towards the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
Till then, we'll discuss on the content for today.
Okay. So, here was somebody who had asked about, if we have children with hearing challenges, there are these, of course, this whole thing would be done in detail later on. There are very simple devices which are used and which support universal design of learning. So when you are in the classroom, you are talking, at the same time you're writing on the blackboard, at the same time there is some activity which is being done, and probably there might be a device where the microphone is, the one part of side of it is attached to the teacher, his voice, and it is getting magnified in the ear of the child with hearing challenge. UDL also talks about empathy, being able to take the other's perspective. So the strengths of each individual is understood not only by the teacher and the school administrator, but also the other peer mates, the peers of that particular child. So everyone understands that the child with hearing impairment cannot hear when you are behind that child. So if you want to engage this child, you have to either come in front or turn the child around. Similarly, we have assistive devices for visually challenged or persons with blindness. Now, the picture in between here. This is a class from maybe a school in a village. Everyone is noting down from the blackboard, and this lovely girl is using a braille slate to make her notes here. It's complete part of the whole education system. It's not creating any problem for anyone here. And this is if you are visually challenged, or you might also be, or it could be a child with dyslexia, or it could be anyone else. So I am trying to find out the difference. My teacher wants me to identify the structural differences or the demographic differences between India and Africa, which many children make a mistake with. Here you can actually touch this race thing. And I love this protector here. So you can pin that protector, it doesn't move away from here and there. And this is good for a child with ADHD, a child with visual impairment. and with anyone. So these little devices help in making UDL more effective. And I'm sure many of us are already aware of this particular a project which has been done by IIT. And here, whatever is seen is recorded. So it gets converted into audio. And so they've done it for many thousands of objects. So if there is a television set in front, the entire information will be fed in, can be heard by the person. And therefore, a person with blindness can be in the regular classroom observing what's happening in the classroom, not observing, actually hearing, but we call it observing. And similarly, for assistive devices which are used in UDL, with any class, there's reading happening in the class. So the child with SLD, so you have these strips here, and the middle part is cut, or it is of a different color. So it gives a border for the child to go onto that particular line. And similarly, other activities here for learning spellings and so on and so forth. We have social stories. Now, social stories, who doesn't like learning? You know, when they told me, I never understood so well that if all trees are cut, what will happen?
Yeah.
Till we had that drama, and which talked about the tree coming and narrating. When I'm not there, what is going to happen, and what happens, and where will the birds go from which live on me, and so on and so forth. The amount of carbon dioxide will increase because I will not be able to help you take in the carbon dioxide, right? And so on. And that is when I understood much better that why it is important to have trees to bring down the particular pollution levels, increase the oxygen levels, and so on and so forth. So this was theatre. There's not a social stories, but stories like this also facilitate. When we're talking about stories for autism spectrum disorder, and we have the child in the regular, inclusive, mainstream classroom. So a child with autism spectrum disorder may not know when I should go and hug Simran and when I should not get up. Just now should not be getting up and hugging Simran now, but I can do it after this particular session is over. But if many children on the autism spectrum disorder, they may be in class 12, they may be in college, may not know this. So those little things are told in the form of a story, made into a picture story. But I also learn many other things, although this particular thing I'm aware of, but many other things, although I'm not autistic, I can also learn through these social stories. For example, what with which teacher. So, and this is the large amount of technology that can be used for UDL. And so we come to the last slide here. And as said, you know, it is not going to be easy to convert our classes which are teacher centered into UDL. So first of all, the sitting arrangement structures have to change. My mindset has to change. That only the way I teach is the best way of teaching. It is the focus of my IEPs, my lesson plans has to move from what I need to teach to how can I facilitate learning in all my students. And so, would you want to be the student in your own class? If I can answer that question every morning, then I am on the way to UDL, Universal Design of Learning, engagement, different ways of engagement. different ways of presenting that knowledge, representation, different ways of taking the answers, actions and expressions from the students. And that is all what UDL is all about. We have been doing it all our lives.
So I think the best takeaway from the conversation is that it's not going to be easy, but surely it is going to be worth it. And that is the satisfaction that a teacher could get
Absolutely.
while delivering lectures, conversation in the classroom. So thank you so much, ma'am, for providing us all those important yet minute details regarding UDL. So viewers, in the conversation, we still have around 10 to 12 minutes left to drop your questions in the comment section. So ma'am, we do have certain questions. So could we take those questions
Sure.
from our viewers?
Yes, yes.
All right. So one of our viewers, Jatinder Kaurji, has asked us, dear ma'am, with the help of UDL, how can it help us in developing language learning, especially for the children?
Okay. Now, what does UDL say? UDL says different ways of engagement. Instead of just, I am not a language teacher, so maybe I do not know the pedagogy of teaching languages so well, but engagement means that first of all, what is happening in the child's life, the daily experiences. So we have a circle time. Circle time can be at any level. It doesn't have to be in class nursery, class 8th, class 12. So what did you do today in the morning? Or yesterday? Or it was a festival or whatever else, it was the annual day, and we start talking about the annual day. And then there is narrations. And then somebody comes over, but this, he did this like this. Okay, let's come over, enact. So you're enacting there. And while they're doing this, the keywords, the important words are being put on the blackboard there. Then somebody else can actually be, okay, so now, okay, he was making, what do we say, aeroplanes and flying them in the air. While they were practicing and they had time in between, and sir, this is what he did, and ma'am, what? Okay, so you're very good with sketching. Come. Let's see, sketch. So he sketches out flying the aeroplane, but I wanted you to sketch out, this is a flying aeroplane. But you could only show us the flying an aeroplane. What about this? What about is? And then we go on to talking about the different parts of speech there. These are different ways. So, different ways of engagement, representations and actions taken. And of course, there's the whole thing that we need one language, the mother tongue language, and then only we build on the other, and we combine that also in this particular representations there. And we have those other games na, when you're talking about उसमें क्या है वो कौन सा किसमें कौन से language में क्या कहते हैं इसमें language में क्या कहते हैं all those type of
how
things.
How we greet people in different languages.
Absolutely. So something like this. So the language, I'm sure the language teachers can build upon the seed idea that I've been able to present here.
So Ms. Kaur, I think you have received the answer for your question. You may drop your feedback in the comment section. So ma'am, whenever we talk about education, there's a difference between being literate and being educated. So apart from only the academic concepts or the concepts related to science, maths, it is also important to teach a child about the life skills or the social learning. As you mentioned that a child might not be able to understand that we are in a session, so we should not stand and hug each other. But after the session, so to develop that social understanding, to develop those feelings of being sensitive, having an empathy towards the other person, love, affection, care. So could we ensure that with the help of UDL, a child could exhibit those qualities as well?
When you work, it is inbuilt into universal design of learning. All life skills are sort of inbuilt. In the life skill, in UDL, it's not learner centered. It is student driven. It is learner driven. And if I need to be a part of a team I need to learn how to empathize. I need to learn how to communicate with the other person the way the other person will understand. I need to put across my ideas in such a way that my idea are understood by the person the way I want them to
Yes.
understand. Then problem solving. So the answer is not given right in the beginning. The grass industry class. The grass is green everywhere, everyone knows it. Now, if you're doing UDL, then the children go from place to place, 10 different places, and they come back and tell you what is the color of grass. Or if you're talking about some different type of beaks of birds. So again, it is a discovery method, problem solving, which we are doing there.
And ma'am, when we also discuss about an inclusive classroom setup, I would request you to reflect on the aspect that we are not only talking about children with special needs or the one with who are differently abled, but also the ones who are disadvantaged.
Absolutely. When we are talking about universal design of learning, it is different type of learning styles, different type of intelligences, different diversities in, for example, disabilities, children coming from different type of backgrounds. There's a chapter on my home. Now, if you talk about a home, there in the class, if you're going to have actual neighborhood schools, then there will be a child who has a swimming pool in their home. There's another child who barely gets enough water to have a proper bath, and they're all in the same class. Now you're going to talk about a chapter on my home. How are we going to convert this into, should every home, what is my home has this, my home has this? It doesn't look like. What about starting off with my dream home? What do I visualize as my dream home? So everyone builds their dream home, and then we come on to what is a drawing room? What is a living room? And do we need to have a living room? And if we don't, so do we have multitasking? And the students come out with this themselves. So all your life skills are being taken care of. EWS is also taken care of. I recall examples where it was on class, I think 5 or something, and they were talking about my pet. Now this child who was from a EWS, this thing, and he did have a pet, but he came back and said, I have 5 puppies. And so where are those puppies? And he says, do you want to come and see them? They live inside the nala, and then we call them out and we do this. The entire class got so excited about it. The puppies were not in, the pet was not in the home. See how the EWS, and by that very comfortable teacher, was made into a very strong bonding between the different children.
Ma'am, at the same time, due to paucity of time, I think we'll just take one more question in the conversation. So ma'am, in our classrooms we have a lot of children, and of course their result varies because everyone is different. So there are children who might not be able to score that well in academics. So how can UDL come into that place, fill that loop and help them?
UDL, first of all, definitely improves the grade of academics, because the learning takes place in a manner which the child is able to learn best in. Second is, we look at marks which only come through giving an exam by the written mode.
Yes.
So when we are talking about a holistic, or how UDL looks at it, is that the grading has to be continuous, comprehensive, and spread across a long period of time and across different types of activities.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for that information. We would have loved to continue the session, but as I just informed, that we don't have so much time in the conversation, but I'm pretty sure that today's session has turned out to be really productive, useful and helpful for all our viewers watching our conversation. Thank you so much, ma'am,
Thank you
the
for having
precious
me.
information and your valuable time.
Thank you so much.
So once again, viewers, I would like to inform you that it was the third day of our online training that we are running on accessible digital resources and assistive technologies. So here we discussed about universal design for learning. Once again, let me quickly take you across our website. Have a look at your screens. There is a web page of CIET NCERT, and our website is right there. Yes, there it is. So all the information regarding our 5 days online training session can be gathered through events. Followed by that, there are workshop and trainings, and as I informed you in the beginning of the session about the activities. So this is the home page that is dedicated to our online training on accessible digital resources and assistive technologies. So here are the informations and the broader topics, the themes that we are going to discuss in these 5 days. So it's almost an end to our third day training program on universal design for learning. Tomorrow, as you can see on day 4, 24th of November, we have more information on assistive technology. Though ma'am has provided us more guidance on it, but tomorrow we are going to discuss about it at length. Then on the 5th day of our online training, we are going to discuss on developing digital resources for children with special needs. Then very quickly, I would like to draw your attention to our program schedule. You all can participate in our live interactive sessions. Then I know that you are waiting for our post-session activity. So all you have to do is watch all our live training sessions, and all the questions of the quiz will be formed from our 5 days online training sessions. And if you haven't watched our live sessions, then you don't have to worry, because we also have the videos and the links available through our YouTube channel. So here are the informations and your feedback, and here is a mail ID training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in and a contact number for all of you. So many beautiful comments they are pouring in the comment section of NCERT official. So let me quickly take you across our viewers. So Shweta ji says it's a very informative session. We have learnt a lot. Thank you so much. Then thank you ma'am for the wonderful session. It's said by Diksha Singh Parmar. So we have another comment from Rubina Mehrotra ji that the session is very fruitful, and such amazing comments they are just pouring in the comment section. So thanks a lot. As I always say that your feedback matters a lot to us. So keep on writing to us. It's not only about your feedback, but also the questions and the queries that you have in your mind. Thank you so much for connecting with us in this live interactive session. Now it's time for me to wrap up this conversation, but stay connected, because next up we have a session of Sahyog, where we try to provide guidance for mental well-being and psychosocial support to all the students, learners, viewers watching our session. So stay connected and keep watching eVidya channels. Namaskar.